Hello, this is your virtual life coach, Michael Lewis. Let's talk about problem solving. Oh, problems. Problem comes from an old word that literally means thing thrown in front of you, which is the way it feels. You know, you're walking along, and then there's this thing that's thrown in front of you. It could be a little thing and you trip up, or it could be a great big thing and you smash your face against it. But either way, it's a problem. And in many ways, today's problems are yesterday's solutions. Things that you thought were solving a problem kind of became unraveled and became a problem themselves. Like, you know, you were lonely, so you decided to get a pet monkey to keep you company. And then the pet monkey, which was the solution, became itself a problem, as pet monkeys often do. That's why you don't hear very often of pet monkeys. That's a silly example. But let's say the wife has a problem with the husband. And instead of really confronting it and talking it out and all like that, she solves it by dumping him and going off with his best friend. And then some months later, she's having trouble with the new guy. Plus her husband, her ex-husband, who's like plotting revenge and all that sort of thing. Here's another one. His car broke down. Okay. He doesn't have enough money for the new car, so he borrows the money from someplace. So now he's got a problem with the credit company because he bought a car that he couldn't afford in the first place, and probably he should have just fixed the old car. But the new car was a solution for the old car breaking down. See? So this thing that was a solution is now the new problem. So not saying that's the way it happens all the time, but it seems to be a pattern. It's just something to look at. You know, like you think of a problem that you've got right now. Yeah, that one. Maybe it used to be a solution. Maybe it was a way of fixing something that was not good. I don't know. None of my business. Let's see. The easy solutions go in the way or in the direction of avoiding what's really going on. They're just sort of a handy way of kind of handling the symptom instead of the disease, you know, covering up the acne instead of getting the person to cut out all the eating the foods that are bad for him in the first place. See, the world is full of these easy solutions, and they're all in the direction of decreasing awareness, avoiding the real problem, not looking, you know, take drugs, drink, watch TV for a while. You look stressed, watch some TV, take a vacation, lie on the beach for, you know, for a few weeks, you know, sleep, you know, just take another nap, that sort of thing. These are all kind of ways of not looking, not confronting, that sort of thing. It says, you know, not saying never to take a vacation, never to watch TV, but sometimes it's just kind of easy to do that instead of confronting what's going on, taking a look at what's going on. And actually the road out for any problem is to increase your awareness. And you do this by looking and really seeing what's going on. And it's not that easy sometimes. Sometimes you need to do it bit by bit, inch by inch. Now, otherwise, you can get a solution that just doesn't take you anywhere. A person trips over some milk that's left in the aisle of one of these little grocery stores, these little junior markets, and she falls down, she breaks her leg, and she turns around and she sues the shop owner. The shop owner has got two ways to go now. The easy way to go would be to avoid the lawsuit, avoid the whole thing, and just declare bankruptcy, and that's the end of it. And that handles it. It does handle it, but he's going to have a problem down the road now because he declared bankruptcy. He's going to have some trouble starting up a new business. He might have to work for somebody for a few dozen years or so. The other thing he could do is he could take a look at what's going on. She's suing me. Okay, I'm going to countersue her. for disrupting my store and disturbing the customers. And I'm hiring a private detective, and private detective finds out that she actually makes a living by doing this, going into stores, creating a ruckus, suing, getting to settle, and that's how she makes a living. So he goes, he goes to the press, he goes to the media, he goes on TV, and he says, I am an honest shop owner being preyed upon by unscrupulous scam artists. And this is a terrible thing. And so she's the one who goes scurrying. He gets all this nice media attention. He makes a whole bunch of money. He's able to start a franchise. That sort of thing. Another thing about problems is they very often contain undelivered communications. He wanted to ask her out for a date. He wanted to ask her out for a date. He didn't ask her out for a date because he was too shy or whatever. She was wanting him to ask her out for a date. But because he didn't ask her out for a date, she figured, well, he doesn't like me. So she said yes to some other guy who she didn't really care for that much. They get married and she has 45 years of unhappiness, and so does he. All he had to do was ask her out for the date. It's an undelivered communication. I think if you look over a problem or two that you might have with a person that is otherwise a friend of yours, it may boil down to something you didn't say to them that you should have, some information they should have that they don't, or the other way around, something they needed to say to you, some information you needed to have, and that would have squared the whole thing around. And I think you'll notice that sometimes, you know what they say, when people are upset with each other, why don't you guys just talk it out? Just talk it out. And you'll notice that there are undelivered communications there, and then they get delivered. So it's really good. Sometimes a person loses somebody, and you see them really, really crying at the funeral, really, really taking it bad. Well, part of that is there was probably some undelivered communication, something he or she needed to tell the person who is now deceased. And of course, they can't do that anymore. So these are big things, these undelivered communications. Communication is a very important thing. You also need to define your problem in the right terms. My husband is not a problem. I'm broke is not a problem. Life sucks is not a problem. Those are all conditions or situations. A problem is not a condition, it's not a situation, it's not a person. It is a how, H-O-W, or a whether, W-H-E-T-H-E-R. So it's not my husband is a jerk, it's how do I live with my husband? It's not I'm just broke, it's how to cure my being broke, how to get a better job, or whatever. The problem is always answered yes or no, up or down, this or that, in or out, never maybe. Never maybe, and never I don't know. Maybe just prolongs things and just influences the next solution. Maybe is not good. It's indecision. You don't want that. We'll get into that in about another minute or so. What happens when a problem doesn't get solved? It will float. It will follow you because it loves you. It's your problem. You made it, so it's going to follow you. So if he didn't handle that problem with his girlfriend, it's going to go on to the next girlfriend. He's going to have problems with that girlfriend. And then he's going to have problems with his wife. And then he's going to have problems with his next wife. And then he's going to say, you know what my problem is? Women. But it's just the same problem he had when he was 14 years old with the first girlfriend, and he never solved it. So because of these things, undelivered communications, avoiding looking, not confronting, not facing, what happens when you do that is the problem that you're trying to solve by avoiding it is going to get very complex, very contorted, very involved, and so on. And it will just build and build and build because you didn't do the simple thing you were supposed to do in the first place. You didn't just tell her that you've changed your mind about getting married. No, you just go ahead and get married. Or you didn't tell the bank that had okayed the loan that you actually needed another $15,000 to really get the company up on its feet. So as a result, now you got a problem with the company. See, have you ever had to deal with a person who was always having problems? You know, they always seemed to be, you know, fighting something, stuff was going on, and there was, you know, these are the most interesting people that you know, by the way. But they always seem to have something going on, some kind of problem, some sort of difficulty. Would you say, in your estimation, would you say there was possibly something or someone that they didn't want to deal with, that they were avoiding, and then avoiding again, and then avoiding that, and then avoiding that? Possibly, possibly. Think of a problem you had in the past. Was there something you were trying to avoid? Someone you didn't want to talk to? Something you didn't feel you could say? Or something you felt you couldn't do right then and there? Like, for whatever reason, could have been a perfectly good reason. You see, when you look at problems, you are not looking at definites. You're looking at confusions and mysteries, unknowns, questions and complexities, worries, difficulties. That's what you're looking at when you're looking at a problem. And it's not, these are not the most comfortable things in the world, because these are all things that you can't really grasp hold of and do stuff with. You know, they're a whole bunch of what, why, what, you know, it's a lot of questions like that. Whereas what you want and what is comfortable and what will handle a problem is decisions, things that you know for sure, and it is, as opposed to, what? So on the one hand, you've got mysteries, confusions, complexities, unknowns. And on the other hand, you've got definites, know for sures, decisions, and yes, it is sort of thing. You see the difference? This hand, we've got definites. This hand, we've got, you parents, you're very familiar with this. Your little kid runs into the room and he's all, why did he just, there's blood everywhere and he hit me, and of course, the first thing you're going to do as a concerned parent and citizen, you're going to say, oh my goodness, what happened? He doesn't know. You're just throwing another what on top of him. He's just going to keep on going, no. Let's take that same scenario and what would be good to do, okay? So he's running in. He's just a mass of confusions and mysteries and pain and worries and anger and everything else. You're going, here's the blood, you killed me. And you go, quick, where's your head? Good, where's the ceiling? Good, how many feet do you have? 2. You're giving him things that he can look at and that he can definitely know are the answer to things. This will calm a person down. So now you can sit down with him, now that he's calmer and you're calmer, and you can say those magic words. What happened? This applies to grown-ups as well. You get hit with something, you get hit with a big problem or something else, something like that. What do you know for sure? No matter how trivial it is, what do you know for sure? And what do we know we can progress with? And then you make your decision. You don't stay in the maybe. And now here's the thing, is you don't know for positive sure if your decision is going to be the right decision or not. That is secondary. In my entire life, I have never made the correct decision at the time that I made it, for the simple reason that I didn't know. I mean, we could be hit by an asteroid. There could be a herd of buffalo coming through this room in the next minute. All sorts of things could happen. But what you do is, and what I do is, you make a decision based on the evidence that you've got, based on your own good judgment, and then you do your darndest to make sure that it was a correct decision. You are the one who makes it a correct decision, nobody else. See? So, take a look at one of your problems right now. I'll wait. There, that one, yeah. What are 3 things you know for sure about that problem? Not that it's an awful problem or confusing, but actual stuff, actual elements of it, actual factoids having to do with it. Is there a person involved? Is that person like a weird person or a trustworthy person or what? I guarantee you that if you can find 3, 4, 5 things that you know for sure, and you hone in on those, you'll start seeing the problem start to evaporate, and you feel a bit better. So it's a matter of looking, simplifying, and deciding. Anything, even a wrong decision, is better than the agony of sitting in the middle of a problem, in the middle of a maybe, in the middle of a whole bunch of confusions and mysteries. It's no fun at all. See? So the trick is to make the decision, do everything in your power to make sure it was a correct decision. I wish you good luck with these problems. I wish you good luck, and I'm sure you're the one to handle them. I have every confidence in you. And that's all I've got to say for now. So if you like this webinar, please be persuaded to like and subscribe and check out my website at areyoualivetoday.com. Meanwhile, love each other, take your vitamins, observe posted speed limits, play nice, and never lose sight of who you are. Never, 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 never lose sight of who you are. So long for now.